My dad was in the Army for 20 years. We've lived all over the place, Kansas, Hawaii. My dad retired in North Dakota, of all places to retire. My dad was gone a lot. He was in the field a lot, and he was doing training things in Germany, Japan, Korea. There were some things that, when I was younger, I wish you'd have been there for. Sporting events, Christmases, birthdays, and things like that. It wasn't a rough life. We didn't have that rough childhood, but we did live in areas that were not the nicest places. Growing up, my parents were mostly like, as long as you believe that God exists, then we're fine. I mean, I knew who God was, and I had a Bible in my room, and I knew, gospel songs, Amazing Grace, things like that. But I didn't know God. I didn't have any idea of who God was growing up. My dad retired in Devils Lake, North Dakota, and that's where we lived. I graduated high school there in '97, and I didn't have a lot of friends, didn't really try to make a lot of friends, but a lot of people, we were pretty much the only minorities in town, and everybody there only knew me or thought of me as a person who could, dunk a basketball because I was black, and I could, but that was beside the point. And I got through that, and I got into a few fights here and there, but as I graduated, I started running with the wrong people. I found acceptance in people who, would get high all the time or would get drunk and just do things that they shouldn't be doing. And I started to attend college there, and it just continued there. It was about 1999. I had a group of friends that we ended up, for spring break, traveling to Ogden, Utah, of all places. Most people go to Panama or Cancun. We ended up in Ogden, Utah, and it was there that it just kind of started tumbling more and more. I got involved with even more of the wrong people and ended up getting left here, actually. And the people I was with, I got into gang activity, and I got heavy into drugs, alcohol, anything I get my hands on, theft. And it got to a point, I couldn't even wake up, and before I even opened my eyes to roll out of bed, I was looking for something to get high, and it was pretty bad. Violence was almost an everyday thing, and if I couldn't make my money through work, then I would make my money some other way. It was just an endless cycle. It was an endless cycle, and I was still lost. In the middle of that time period, I'd had a daughter who'd passed away, and I got angry with God. I was mad. If you're supposed to be there in this God that I've heard about so much about, why would you let something like this happen? In 2005, I met my wife. She said two things to me that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. She knew I'd started to try to go to college again. She said, first of all, if I'm going to be with you, you're going to finish school. And the second thing that she said to me, no more drugs, none of that stuff anymore. She said, if you decide to do your own thing, I'm out of here. And nobody really put me on the burner like that before, like ever. So we started talking about getting married and doing that stuff, and my wife again put me on the burner and said, if we're going to get married and we're going to have a relationship, we're going to have a marriage based on God. So we started going, and it wasn't anything like I'd ever experienced church before. The music, first of all, was different, but I liked it. It grabbed me. And so we started attending more and more and more. And I'd always known the song Amazing Grace. And one day, the song was being played. And I was like, oh, I know this song. This is a great song. And it was when they started singing, My Chains Are Gone, I've Been Set Free. It got real. I think I understood what grace was. And it felt good because I felt everything from my life, like my dad being gone, the violence around our home, the violence that I was involved in, the drugs, the alcohol, everything was gone. And I was okay with the way I was. And that he loved me. That God loved me. And I'd never really felt that before. I didn't know that. And it was that moment that in my heart, I desired from then on that my heart belongs to God. My heart belongs to Christ. And that's who I'm going to follow. And there's no question about it. I think in that moment, I'd finally let go of everything I was trying to hold on to so much, that I was trying to control. And he said, now that you've let go, I'll take it and just walk with me.